So I have this shirt that I got a couple years ago. I don't even remember when, like 4 or 5 years ago. And a coworker told me, don't wash that because the button thingies, whatever those are called, the shiny things will fall off. I have a train of thought today. Anyways, I didn't take her advice. I washed it. A lot of them fell off. So, the beginning of this, I take tweezers to pluck the rest of them off because I figure that's easier than plucking them off with my big gigantic fingers. It's less messy and I'm less likely to ruin the little eyeball thing. So then I needed sequins, embroidery thread, needles, scissors. I use an embroidery hoop because it makes sewing easier. And then I'm showing you there's like a little gap under the eye. So sewing down with the sequins will help fix that. It'll attach the lashes better. Anyways, so I do keep the little gems for later because I might reuse those in something else eventually. And then I pick a needle that actually fits in the sequin hole because that's really important. But it has to be a little bit smaller than your hole so that when you have thread on it, it works. And then these are the only sequins I could find. We did have a jar somewhere in this house. It's a little baby food jar and it's got random other colored sequins in it and various beads. I could not find it anywhere. I looked in all the craft places I could think of. Couldn't find it. Anyways, so I used these that I found in the Halloween tub that I don't know why I bought them, but I knew they were there, so I went looking in the Halloween tub for them. Anyways, I have a train of thought. I'm going to stay on track. I lost the track completely, actually, to be completely truthful here. I lost my train of thought. Oh, anyways, so the sequence that I got came in like a, what do you call it, cascading colors, you know, whatever that's called, you know. So I was going to pick 2 of each color, and then I realized 2 of the packets are the exact same color, so that packet got nixed, and then I went and used 3 of the color in the middle because there's actually kind of a lot of room left, but not enough room for more of them to be 3, and I didn't want it to be all like out of place. I don't know. I needed it to be some kind of an order. Does that make sense? So this is what I did. The 2, 2, 3, 2, 2. For the colors that I had to work with. And then for my thread, what the embroidery thread that I use, this particular one, comes in a strand of 6, and I use 2 strands. So the little windy thing that I pull out and I sew with instead, that's, you know, it's that weird little shave thing. I make those, that's 2 strands already pulled out, easy to go. So that's all that is. It's the same, it's regular embroidery floss, but it's already prepped for me because, I don't know, I did that for some project at some point. I needed a ton of the two strand. I think I was making hair for something. Anyways, I have a train of thought. So you do normal embroidery knot. That's not what I do. French knot for all of these. So eventually at some point I had asked my mom, how do people attach sequins without glue? Like, how do you sew that on without there being a big knot? And she said you use a French knot. Oh, duh. Okay, so I can do that. So for French knot, you go up from the bottom, you know, so your original ugly knot is under the fabric. And then when you come out, you pull it all the way tight and then hold it really tight with one hand and then put your needle around the tight, you know, and then do it however many times. I did 5 times per each knot for this because it needs to be kind of a big knot so that the sequin will stay on. But if you're just doing a decorative one, 2 is a good number for practicing. Anyways, so you go around your needle however many times, and then when you go back in, that piece that you're keeping tight, keep that really tight as you let the needle go through, and that's how you get the tight little ball and it doesn't have a weird loop sticking off of it or something. Did that make sense? It's a 2-handed process. You just have to keep that first hand really tight, and then if your needle doesn't want to go through, now that you have the thread on it, it's just not going to go through your object and it's not letting you have the knot, pull on the tip where your thread is all kind of wound up to kind of loosen it a little bit, and then try again, and keep doing that until it'll go through because it'll help adjust it so that it fits correctly and works. And then I did get one at some point. I don't know what happened. The extra string that hangs, you know, off your needle got all twisted up in there, and it did a thing, and it made a big funky weird thing. So I wound up just kind of twisting that under the sequin and hiding the weird extra thread. And luckily I used black thread and it's black eyelashes, so it kind of blends in and you can't even tell. So that was easy enough. And then you just keep doing each knot to each knot. Does that make sense? Like after you do the knot for the French knot, you're back under. So you can just go back up the next sequin and start again. Do the loops, go back down, pull it tight, and then, you know, keep going. French knots are pretty easy once you figure it out. And then on the back, you know, you just close it off like however you do. I just randomly make knots all over the place, at least 3, but way more than 3 most likely. And then you're done. And the sequins, I think, are nice and shiny and it's fun. And I will still wash this in a garment bag gently, not like I did before. Oh, and at some point I totally spilled all my sequins everywhere. I don't know how I did that. I must have elbowed it or something. But I got little, I had to clean them. I had to pick them all up right then because it would have just bothered me so bad if I didn't. So then I did the same thing with the other eye, but I kept the colors going the opposite, you know what I mean? So that the light one's on the outside and the dark one's on the inside. Does that make sense? Anyways, I made the thing so that it matched. And I'm showing here what it looks like the before and the after when there's still the old funky gems that are some missing because I washed it and I shouldn't have, like that. And then my new with sequins option. Does that make sense? Oh my god. Okay, well, I have a train of thought sometimes. Maybe. I don't know. Definitely not today. Definitely not today. Oh my goodness. I have had such a bad train of thought today that I totally forgot about my poor dog, but he didn't tell me, so. And he's been right next to me. So he got 3 extra treats because I forgot to give him the first 2. That's my bad. He has a schedule every day and I'm usually like exactly on his schedule, but I don't know what happened today. I am lost. I am all over the place getting stuff done, but also it feels like I'm getting nothing done. So then here with this, I have all these little random bags because I got these sequins in the dollar store and that's how they come. And it's messy and you don't want to spill all your sequins, so I just take a piece of tape and tape over both ends. And then since 2 of them were the same, I just taped the insides of those together so that I know both of those are the same color. And there you can store your sequins nicely. And with all of that away and out of my way and cleaned, I can do the other side with peace. And then it's the same thing. Just do your knots, make sure you're pulling it tight, and then keep adjusting the strings on the end if it gets stuck at the eye of the needle while you're trying to go back through with your French knot. It's a pretty easy stitch. I mean, it takes a little getting used to, and the more strings you do, the harder it's going to be. So if you're struggling with it or have never done it before, definitely only do 2 loops around because it gets a little unwieldy when you do more. But that'll be a really, really small knot. Also, you shouldn't really try to do it with more than 2 strands because it gets thick and it's kind of hard to pull it through. Even if you're using a big needle, it's going to be hard to pull it through the fabric itself if you're using too big of a knot, too much thread. So yeah, 2 strands is a good rule of thumb. So yeah, anyways, that is just me trying to fix a random shirt that has lived on my piano for like 2 years because I never bothered to sew it. I don't know where it lived before I put it there, but I thought if I put it on my piano, that'll mean I'll sew it, right? I'll fix it. No, I just kept moving it because it was always in my way. So yeah, that's cool. That's how I function. And then I just kind of show like it's shiny and whatever, you know, shimmer thing that sequins do. Just kind of showing what it winds up looking like. I didn't feel like taking my blue shirt off, and I definitely wasn't going to put a bra on. I don't really wear those very often. So I needed something on under this to show what it looks like on. But yeah, I think it's decent.